Hi teachers, this is our elementary video for the last week of March, March 24th and 25th. And I first just want to say thank you so much for coming along for the journey that has been this month. I know we've done a lot of new things, and I just really appreciate your willingness to try new things with these kids. And my big prayer has been that our kids just grow in their prayer life with God. And I think, and I'm hoping that you've all seen the fruit of that effort over the last 4 weeks. So this week, we're going to take a little bit of a deviation from studying the Psalms. We're talking about the Last Supper, and there are some commentaries that link some Psalms to foreshadowing into the Last Supper, and there are some commentaries about the Psalm that Jesus and his disciples sang at the Last Supper. But I think that is probably a little too complex, and this is already a pretty complex story, the story of Jesus's body being broken, and the analogy of the wine and the body. I think that's a hard thing. That's going to be a bit of a difficult thing for our kids to understand. So I've chosen to just stick with the New Testament information, and we're not going to be using the Psalms in this lesson, but we will be using the story of the Israelites being freed from Egypt, because we'll talk a little bit briefly about Passover and how a lamb was needed to sacrifice, the blood of the lamb. That's important for our lesson because Jesus was celebrating the Passover. That's the first importance, but it's also like a picture from the past into the future of what Jesus would come and do. And so the whole point of today is hopefully that our kids will, as they go into Holy Week, they will have a burden to embrace God in a different way this week. That Jesus sacrificed himself willingly for us, that our punishment for our sins should rightfully be death. But we don't have to have that because Jesus took that death for us. And he was trying to explain that to his disciples and to us. And so you're going to be talking about the Last Supper and the symbology or the symbolism behind the wine and the bread, and what Jesus was trying to share with his disciples and with us. And then you'll get all the way through to the point where Jesus is arrested. And then next week, when you do Easter, you'll take it from there with his arrest and into the story of Easter and ultimately his resurrection. So it's going to be hopefully a really great week, and just something that is encouraging to you and to the students. So you'll still have a craft. So the craft is this cross. You'll just need some colored pencils, and it's just the Last Supper visual with the Mount Calvary. And then you will also have a song for prayer time. And your song this week is Amazing Grace by Chris Tomlin. And so this will be our last prayer experience with the kids. And I would just, as you go into the prayer experience, I would just this one's going to be a little bit more somber because we're talking about Jesus sacrificing his life for us. And so I would just encourage the kids in their prayer time to listen to the words of the song and think about the gift that we've received from Christ, that there's nothing we can do for it. It is a gift freely given to us and freely sacrificed for us by Jesus. And so spend those 3 or 4 minutes just contemplating and praying to God, thanking him for this gift that I don't even know how to comprehend the bigness of this gift. And so just kind of help lead them in that direction so that they can be spending their prayer time talking to God about his son. And then you have a bunch of review questions. If you have time, I've given you review questions for this week, and then I've added the review questions from the previous 3 weeks, so you guys can play Zonk or whatever review game you want to play, and you can, if you want to, review the entire month. If you only have time to just play review for this week, that's fine too. So anyways, thank you guys so much. I just really appreciate partnering with you, and I hope that you are getting fulfillment and fruit from the work that you're doing for children. Thank you so much, and we'll see you soon.